So he went on his TikTok. He is talking to Jaden Daniels, the new starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders, telling him that the 49ers said they don't want him anymore. Background here is the 49ers apparently had multiple teams interested in trading for Brandon Aiyuk before the draft, including the Jags, but they never received an offer that blew them away. And now you get this video.
This is what we do nowadays. You got to go to social media. You got to show everybody, oh, I'm this. I've been disrespected. I'm not going to follow you anymore. I'm not going to do this. And it's not how it's done, but I guess it is how it's done now. David, I honestly just want this thing to be over. At first, I was like, okay, re-sign him, but I think he saw his value when they went out and with their first pick took a wide receiver and said, hey, why? In all fairness, I've said this for the longest. Wide receivers are the most replaceable position. I know people like to think, oh, but this guy is special until he's not. Until somebody new comes in. There are only a handful of guys that I think are untouchable. And even when you have that one receiver, doesn't mean you're going to win a Super Bowl.
No.
So if he comes back, fine. But at this point, I think he's just burning so many bridges and just whining and complaining.
As a Niners fan, and nothing to do with contracts or anything like that, would you rather have him or Debo?
I still would rather have Debo.
Okay, that's what I figured. I would too, because he's more versatile.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, Rico. It is the distraction, which brings me to the other wide receiver. Maybe this was the way to do it. T. Higgins. Yes, he skipped OTAs. He skipped mandatory minicamp. But on Saturday, it was announced that he was going to sign his tender, sign his franchise tag tender. And, of course, now by signing the tender, he's expected to be at training camp. It sounds like to me they're just all in one more year, and he knows it, and he's going to be a free agent. Don't be a distraction.
I can sit
out all off season.
Right.
David, hold on.
And if I have a really good season, my free agent value will go up.
You're going to pay for this. You're going to pay for this. It's the whole, I'm going to gamble on myself. Yes, just be an adult, sign the deal, go make the money. But sitting there, because here's what happens. How do you back that down when you end up signing that contract for 1 year? And then all your teammates are like, yeah, I kind of saw what you said and did. Oh, I was just joking. Okay. Or you can just be an adult. So that's the smart way to do it. Say nothing. You know why? You never have to apologize for silence.
Well, speaking of silence, someone is being silenced in the NFL. You may have seen a report that the Carolina Panthers are trying to get public dollars for a new stadium. Well, the reports are, according to the Charlotte Observer's Scott Fowler, the Carolina Panthers, in order to obtain this money, are telling their owner, shut up, stay back, and let us handle the business side. Quote, it has been wise for Tepper to stay in the background and let the executive team directly under him be the faces of this proposal. Tepper has gotten a lot of advice, including in his corner, to stay out of the fray more often because he's hurt himself and his reputation.
I don't know the laws in like North Carolina. I know in Chicago, the Bears want to redo Soldier Field and do all that. If the city council there, the councilman, they want it, it doesn't go to a vote like it did in Kansas City and what they lost. I have no idea what it's like in North Carolina, but aren't we at the point now where we know that spending public dollars for these facilities for football, for sports teams, it's just not worth it to the taxpayer? Are we wise enough to know that now?
Yeah, when you have cities who are like, okay, you can go. You can leave because we're not doing it.
Right.
San Diego told the Chargers, love you. See you down the road. You're LA's problem now. We never really wanted you here. When you have Kansas City saying, congratulations, we're back-to-back champions, and no way in hell are we building you a new facility.
Right.
No, we're not about that lifestyle. Because it's a grift. It's a con.
Yes.
You're helping billionaires out, and they're out there, help me, I'm poor. You're not.
No.
You can fund this thing yourself.
Right.
Because you're not going to give the fans a break on tickets, on parking, on food, nothing.
Correct.
So they've finally gotten to the point where fans see, I get nothing out of this, and I'm giving you everything.
Right.
Not going to happen. So, yeah, if I was, and you're a bad team.
Right, I was going to say, especially that.
You're a bad team. So, are you serious right now? No, you don't.
Yeah, why would they ever give him money? They don't even like him in Carolina right now.
If Kansas City got shot down and they're a dynasty or a dynasty in the making, you're about to replace your quarterback again. No, you get nothing. Here's a day-old bagel.
Well, we now know what the in-season division will be. It was announced today that the in-season division for Hard Knocks will be the AFC North. So you'll see Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Browns, and the Steelers in the in-season. That will start December 3rd.
Oh, so it aired December 3rd. So right, and because it's in season, it's pretty much current. Because I remember last year it was who in season? It was the Dolphins.
It was the Dolphins. So what'll happen is it'll start December 3rd, and it said it will go through the playoffs. So whichever teams in that division make the playoffs, you'll see their entire run.
I mean, we know you're going to see at least one.
You'll see the Steelers, exactly.
Okay, we'll see the Ravens. But yes.
You know what? You'll see the Steelers because they always make the playoffs, and then they always lose that first game.
Yes.
But
and if Deshaun Watson stays healthy both physically and mentally, you might see the Browns in the playoffs.
An intriguing thing because you could have, that's the one division where you could have everybody with a winning record. I mean,
yes.
They're all good teams. And all joking aside, you can pick any of those teams and say, okay, yeah, I can see how they could win the division.
There's so many storylines, too. Can Tomlin continue his playoff streak? Yeah. Deshaun Watson with the Browns. Can Lamar Jackson get over the hump in the playoffs? Make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I could see that. I mean, and I think in their world, they're hoping for a Cincinnati-Kansas City game, and Cincinnati takes out Kansas City because Joe Burrow seems to be the only person that could take out Mahomes and the Chiefs. I like it. I mean, I'm not a big Hard Knocks fan. It's intriguing that you're going to do the whole division. I'll give it a watch. I mean, they're not going to do a deep dive on Deshaun Watson.
Well, no.
You know that, right?
Look, a lot of the really good stuff that you really want to see never gets aired because it's too. In fact, they're not
NFL owns this.
Yes, exactly. They've had the Dolphins one. I thought was pretty cool. I watched it because my daughter worked on it. Also, the Cardinals one the year before was awful. Yes, thank you, Marissa.
I had to. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hopefully, she'll be back doing it, working for your Steelers maybe this year, David. I don't know.
Don't do that to her.
Anyway, yes, and sometimes I remember the first year was Indianapolis.
Yes,
they went on
season.
That complete Carson Wentz collapse where they lost the game in Jacksonville to make the playoffs. That's when you realized that Carson Wentz was a real putz.
Exactly.
As a teammate.
Exactly. That was good to see.
And there's three of them now. I mean, there's the off-season one, which starts in a few weeks with the Giants.
But I mean, do people really get into this hard? I mean,
I don't know.
It's not as much. I think that's why they kind of spread the love now.
It was okay when it was the Lions, but I was like, okay, because it's always they find the one guy who, at least maybe the end season, to be a little different because they're on the team rather than a bunch of guys like, let's hope he can make the team. Like, you already know.
The Lions one was different because they focused so much on Campbell and they like the Deuce Staley, Aaron Glenn, back and forth that those guys had. There was some interesting things. It's entertainment. It's television. It's all what the NFL and all sports is all about right now. It's good stuff. Good theater.
And that is in football today.